You open an app to buy one thing. Maybe toothpaste. Maybe a phone charger. Maybe a pair of socks. 10 minutes later, your cart contains 6 items, a discount code, free shipping, and something called a limited edition organizer that you had never heard of before. You did not plan this. At least, you think you did not. But someone planned it? Not the exact product you would buy, not the exact second you would press the button, but the path that pushed you there was designed long before you arrived. The colors, the prices, the order of the products, the fake urgency, the free trial, even the irritating little message telling you that only 3 items remain. None of these things are random. And the uncomfortable truth is that buying decisions usually begin before you feel like you have made a decision at all. So the real question is not, why do I have no self-control? It is this. How do stores and apps make an unplanned purchase feel like your own idea? To understand that, we need to start with something most people completely misunderstand about shopping. You do not enter a store with a fixed list of desires. You enter with a brain that is constantly updating what it wants. That matters.
Because your brain does not calculate value like a spreadsheet. It compares. It reacts. It gets tired. And under the right conditions, it can mistake pressure for preference. Imagine walking into a dark room. At first, you can barely see anything. Then your eyes adjust. Objects that were invisible suddenly appear. Shopping works in a similar way. A store does not always create a new desire from nothing. It changes the environment until a desire becomes visible. That is why supermarkets place certain products at eye level. It is why shopping apps show recommendations before you even search. It is why the first price you see is often much higher than the final price. The environment is adjusting your eyes. And the first adjustment usually happens through something called anchoring. Suppose you see a jacket priced at $180. You think, that is expensive. Then you notice it is marked down to $89. Suddenly, $89 feels reasonable, maybe even cheap. But here is the problem. You are not comparing $89 with $0, which is what you would spend by not buying the jacket. You are comparing it with $180. That first number becomes an anchor. Like dropping a heavy weight into the ocean, it pulls every judgment toward it. The original price may have been inflated. The jacket may never have sold for $180. It does not matter.
Your brain has already been given a reference point. And once that happens, the discount feels like money gained instead of money spent. Have you ever bought something mainly because the discount felt too large to waste? That feeling is not really about the product. It is about avoiding the pain of losing the deal. And that brings us to the second mechanism, loss aversion. Humans generally dislike losing something more than they enjoy gaining the same thing. Losing $20 feels worse than finding $20 feels good. Stores know this. Apps know this. So instead of saying, you can buy this product, they quietly change the message. Your discount expires tonight. Someone else has this item in their cart. Only 2 rooms remain. Your reward points will disappear. Now you are not considering a purchase. You are defending yourself from a loss. The product has not changed. The frame has. It is like someone placing an ordinary sandwich in front of you and then announcing that it will be removed in 10 seconds. Suddenly, the sandwich becomes important. Not because you became hungry, because it is leaving. This is why countdown timers work even when we know they may restart tomorrow. The logical part of the brain can recognize the trick. The emotional part still feels the door closing. But urgency alone is not enough. If every product screamed for attention, you would become overwhelmed and leave. So stores use a more subtle tool. They control the path. In a physical supermarket, essential products are often spread across different sections. Milk in one area, bread in another, household items somewhere else. You have to move through the store, and every extra aisle creates another chance for an unplanned purchase. This is not very different from walking through an airport. You may only want to reach your gate, but the building forces you past cafes, perfumes, electronics, and duty-free displays. The destination is real, but the route is commercial. Digital stores do the same thing without walls. You search for a laptop. The app shows laptops, then laptop bags, then wireless mice, then desk stands, then extended warranties, then a message telling you that people who bought the laptop also bought a cleaning kit.
The screen becomes an endless aisle, and unlike a real store, this aisle learns from you. It watches what you click, how long you pause, what you add, what you remove, what you almost buy. Then it rearranges itself. Think about that. A supermarket shelf cannot move when you look at it. An app can. So when you say, "This app always seems to know what I want," that may not be because it understands you perfectly. It may be because it has tested thousands of ways to make you react. Which raises a harder question. Are you choosing from the store? Or is the store choosing which version of you appears? The tired version, the bored version, the insecure version, the version that wants a reward after a difficult day. This is where shopping stops being only about price and starts becoming emotional regulation. Sometimes we do not buy the object. We buy the feeling attached to the object. A new notebook can feel like a fresh start. New clothes can feel like a new identity. A kitchen tool can feel like the beginning of a healthier life. A course can feel like progress before we have completed a single lesson. The product becomes a small movie about the future, and for a few seconds, you get to live inside it. I have done this myself. I once bought a piece of equipment because I imagined the organized, disciplined version of myself who would use it every day. That person existed very clearly during checkout. He disappeared almost immediately after delivery. The purchase was real. The identity was rented. That is one reason unplanned purchases can feel strangely disappointing later. The product arrives, but the imagined transformation does not. You did not only buy an item, you bought a promise the item could never fully keep. Apps make this even more powerful by removing friction. Friction is anything that gives you time to reconsider. Walking to the store, waiting in line, taking out your wallet, typing your card number, even seeing cash leave your hand. Every small obstacle creates a moment where the brain can ask, "Do I actually need this?" Modern shopping tries to remove those moments. One-click purchase.
Saved card details. Buy now, pay later. Automatic renewals. Free trials that become paid subscriptions. The buying process becomes so smooth that your decision can travel from impulse to payment without meeting resistance. It is like putting a car on a downhill road and removing every speed bump. The driver still controls the steering wheel, but the road is doing some of the work. This is why digital money can feel less real than physical money. When you hand someone a banknote, you experience a visible loss. When you tap a button, you experience an animation. The payment becomes abstract. The product remains vivid, and the more vivid side usually wins. But stores do not only remove friction from buying, they add friction to leaving. Have you ever tried to cancel a subscription? Joining may require one button. Leaving may require 5 screens, a password, a hidden menu, and a final message asking whether you are absolutely certain. This is called a dark pattern. The system is easy when your action benefits the company. It becomes confusing when your action does not. Notice the imbalance. Buying is a slide. Canceling is a staircase. And then there is the decoy. This is one of the strangest tools in the entire system, because the decoy is often a product the store does not really expect you to choose. Imagine 3 drink sizes, a small for $4,
a medium for $7, a large for $7.50. The medium looks terrible. That is the point. It makes the large look like an obvious bargain. Without the medium, you might compare the small and large carefully. With the medium present, the large feels like the smart choice. The store has not forced you to buy more. It has created a bad option to make another option look better. It is like watching a magician point toward an empty hand. The hand is not important. Your attention is. Restaurants use this. Software plans use this. Streaming services use this. Even donation pages use this. One option quietly reshapes the others. So the next time one choice seems obviously superior, ask yourself something uncomfortable. Is it actually good, or was something worse placed beside it? The deeper you look, the clearer the pattern becomes. Anchoring changes what feels expensive. Scarcity changes what feels urgent. Decoys change what feels intelligent. Frictionless payment changes what feels painful. And personalization changes what feels relevant. But there is still one final piece: the reward after the purchase. Shopping apps do not always end the experience when you buy. They congratulate you. They show points. They unlock badges. They offer surprise discounts. They send delivery updates. The purchase becomes a small game. And games are powerful because they use uncertain rewards. You may open an app and find nothing interesting. Or you may find a huge discount. You may receive a boring notification. Or you may receive an offer that seems perfectly timed. That uncertainty keeps you checking. It works like pulling the handle of a slot machine. Most pulls are ordinary, but the possibility of a reward keeps the hand moving. This does not mean shopping apps are casinos. It means both understand the same part of the human brain. Unpredictable rewards create strong habits. And once shopping becomes a habit, the original need almost disappears. You open the app because you are bored. You scroll because you are waiting. You add items because the cart gives the boredom somewhere to go. Then the store gives you one final push: free shipping. You only need to spend $14 more. So you buy a $19 item to avoid a $6 delivery fee. Mathematically, you spent more. Emotionally, you won. That is how powerful framing can be. The store turns a larger payment into a victory. At this point, it would be easy to blame companies for everything. That would also be too simple. Stores are trying to sell. Apps are trying to keep users. Businesses have always shaped environments to influence behavior. The important part is not pretending influence can be removed. The important part is seeing it clearly. Because once you see the structure, the impulse becomes easier to interrupt. Not impossible, easier. The most effective defense is not stronger willpower. Willpower gets tired. Environment usually wins. The better defense is adding friction back into the system. Remove saved payment details. Turn off shopping notifications. Leave products in the cart for one day. Compare the sale price with the amount you planned to spend, not with the crossed out number. Ask what problem the product solves today, not what future identity it promises tomorrow. And when a countdown timer appears, imagine the product sitting quietly on a normal shelf, with no warning, no flashing color, and no discount label. Would you still want it? That question separates the object from the pressure around it. Remember the 4 hidden moments. The anchor changes your reference point. The scarcity message turns hesitation into fear. The smooth checkout removes the moment of reconsideration. And the reward system brings you back after the purchase. Those were the open doors. Now you can see where they lead. You opened the app to buy toothpaste. You left with 6 products, free shipping, and an organizer you never knew existed. That does not mean you are foolish. It means you entered a system built by people who study attention, emotion, habit, and choice. They planned the path.
But the next time you feel yourself walking down it, stop for 1 second. Look at the cart. Look at the countdown. Look at the discount. Then ask the question the system was designed to prevent. Did I choose this product? Or did I simply reach the end of someone else's plan?